Senator Gardner for his brief statement, just expressing his sorrow at the loss of Justice Ginsburg on Friday. However, I wish we could say the same thing about other leaders in the Republican Party. As I mentioned, just less than an hour, or around an hour after the news of her passing, Majority Leader McConnell had issued a statement saying that they will kill President Trump's as Canadian already we've heard this from Senator Gardner and it's too soon for the election. It's too soon for a vote. The election is too soon. The American people deserve a role in this process. We want Senator Gardner to live by the principles that he was espousing in 2016. Coloradans in waiting for the inauguration, vote on a new justice for our Supreme Court, and to stop the politicization of this. This should be a time of honoring Justice Ginsburg. That's mostly why we're here. We should be honoring Ginsburg. We shouldn't be having to have a press conference the Monday after this week. This should be a time for mourning. And we are gathered here. We want to thank Justice Ginsburg for all her work for all Americans, no matter what they look like, where they come from, what their resources are, what their backgrounds are. She stood for dignity. She stood for the rights of all people, and we want to honor her and honor her legacy. So with that, I want to thank you all again for joining us, and I want to turn the microphone over to my good friend Kevin and your assignment.
Thank you all for coming on a Monday morning. I'll be brief because, frankly, I'm pissed. I'm pissed that we have to be out here defending our country's judicial institutions from yet another attack on their impartiality, their independence, and their effectiveness. So I'm going to play a little game here. I'm going to recite a quote, and I want you all to guess who said the quote. Simple, right? Okay. Quote number 1. I don't think we should be moving forward on a nominee in the last year of this president's term. I would say that if it was a Republican president. Who do you think said that? Cory Gardner. Well, that's close. Actually, it wasn't Cory Gardner. Other guesses?
Donald Trump.
All right, I'll break the news. Senator Marco Rubio, March 17th. Marco Rubio, yeah. Who's that guy? I've heard of him. March 17, 2016. Quote number 2. The American people are about to weigh in on who is going to be the president. And that's the person, whoever that may be, who wants to be making this political appointment. Any guesses on who said that? Same guesses, okay. Some of y'all said Mitch McConnell, and that's true. Mitch McConnell, February 16, 2016. The next president of the United States should have the opportunity to fill this vacancy on the Supreme Court. Our next election is too soon, and the stakes are too high. The American people deserve a role in this process. Who said that? Y'all should know this. Cory Gardner said that. 16. So as you can see, shortly after Justice Scalia's death, and 10 months before the inauguration of the next president, Republicans were adamant that the American people should have a say, and no replacement should be nominated or voted on before the next election or before the next inauguration. Senator Cory Gardner, we are demanding that you and your Republican colleagues stick to your word. I'm ending with a quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg, shortly before she passed away. My most fervent wish is that I will not be replaced until a new president is installed. Let's honor Justice Ginsburg by honoring our democratic institutions. Thank you.
Thank you both. Now I'm going to ask Amy Patton and Representative-elect Aman Judah to come up, and both will be able to give you perspectives of what it means to serve, what it will mean to serve eventually in the Colorado House of Representatives, and as our next DA, because we have a DA right now that believes in prosecuting peaceful protesters when they're abiding by the Constitution. And I know that this next DA, and Amy Patton, will make sure she upholds the Constitution and the right for people to peacefully assemble. So let's welcome them both up, and let's give them a warm welcome, Colorado.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Patton, and I'm the Democratic nominee to be the next district attorney for the 18th Judicial District. It's all of Arapahoe, Douglas, Lincoln, and Elbert counties, and it's George Brockler's current seat, and I'm here to replace him. Thank you for showing up for Justice Ginsburg. She showed up for all of us, even though none of us actually knew her. She fought for women's rights. The reason women are entitled to equal pay is because of Justice Ginsburg. The reason women's right to choose and reproductive rights have been protected is because of Justice Ginsburg. The reason we have a more fair and equitable society is because of Justice Ginsburg. She showed up for us. We now must show up for her and not let the Republicans steal that seat away the way they did when Merrick Garland was nominated. This is critically important. I was in law school when Justice Ginsburg was nominated in 1993, and I was so excited. She was such a champion for civil liberties, for women's rights, and she was a second justice on the Supreme Court. She was so smart, yet at the same time so humble. She said that she just wanted to do the best she could with her abilities. And look at what she did. It was amazing. I shudder to think about what our lives would be like today if it wasn't for her. And she hung on for as long as she possibly could. And it was her dying wish that this seat not be filled until after the election. So we need to show up for her, we need to stand up for her, and we need to demand the seat not be filled until after inauguration in January. So thank you so much for being here.
Good afternoon. Friends, allies, lovers of social justice, I've chosen not to address you today. But rather, I have penned an open letter to Senator Gardner. A few words that as a senator of this great state, he has an obligation to listen to the people of Colorado. Senator Gardner. I am writing you today as a first-generation American, a first-generation Coloradan, the daughter of immigrants and refugees, as a teacher, a person of color, and the soon-to-be first Muslim and Arab woman elected to the Colorado State Legislature. Senator Gardner, let me be clear. It is not lost upon me that my identity is basically everything your party and political views oppose. So that is why I'm here. I'm here to tell you that you have an obligation to listen to us, the people of Colorado, and side with your constituents. I'm here to tell you that we as a nation need time to heal. Allow us time to honor the memory of Justice Ginsburg and what she did for this nation. We have just lost a visionary, a trailblazer, a woman whose life has already started a revolution. Yes, Mr. Gardner, a revolution at your doorstep, led by revolutionaries telling you that we, the people, need to be able to hold on to hope. Telling you that we need to know that our faith in our government can and will be restored. This isn't about party lines. This isn't about ensuring your legacy as a Republican or even the Republican Party. And it certainly isn't about being a rubber stamp for this administration. This is about letting the process have time to do what it was designed to do. This is about ensuring that the highest court in our land is a true breath and reflection of what this country stands for. That all people are created equal. Our ask is simple. not allow the Senate to vote on the next Supreme Court justice until after the inauguration. So, Senator, I stand in front of you today with my fellow revolutionaries, my friends, allies, and lovers of democracy, telling you, not asking, to do your job and listen to the people of Colorado.
Let's give it up for Representative-elect Judah and our next DA, Amy Patton. Next, I'm going to bring up Laura and Anna. Laura is from Healthcare Voter and a Stage 4 cancer survivor. And Anna is from Colorado Working Families Party and the Women's Lobby. And so please welcome them both up and let's hear from them right now.
Hello. 3 years ago, I walked into a doctor's office with a nagging cough and walked out with a stage 4 cancer diagnosis. I would not be here today. I would be bankrupt or dead without the Affordable Care Act. All throughout the last 3 years, I've had to fight every day, not only to be alive, but to keep the insurance that is keeping me alive. Cory Gardner has voted again and again to take away the health insurance of millions of Americans and Coloradans right here. We need him to do the right thing now and protect our care. We need him to stand firm for once for Coloradans with pre-existing conditions like me, instead of lying on television about his own record. Our lives depend on Cory Gardner doing the right thing, which is why we're here today. We are all healthcare voters now. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Anna Ramirez Crawford, and I'm here today as a state committee member for the Colorado Working Families Party, where I serve as a delegate for the Denver Democratic Socialists of America, two organizations with a history of fighting for a more just economy. I also serve as the board chair for the Women's Lobby of Colorado, a statewide policy organization that advocates for gender equity and a more accessible public policy process. And I am a member of the Colorado delegations that traveled to D.C. in 2018 to meet with Senator Cory Gardner and protest Brett Kavanaugh's nomination as a Supreme Court justice. So, like many of you, getting fired up about the Supreme Court is a familiar feeling. I am a biracial Chicana, a rank and file union member, a woman, a partner, a mom. Through all of these roles and identities, I have seen one thing over and over: the power that the people bring to social change, and specifically to policy making. Policy making is truly the people's work. I will repeat that. Policy making is the people's work. It is the right of all of us. It is the right of the people to have a voice in policy making decisions. And if we have the privilege to access those places where policy making is done, we have the responsibility to take action and bring others in with us. So that brings us to today. We are here to push Senator Cory Gardner to wait until after the next presidential inauguration to confirm Justice Ginsburg's replacement. We are also here, I was asked to talk about a particular Colorado issue, Proposition 118, paid family and medical leave, which we need to support on the ballot in November. Both of these issues, the Supreme Court and Prop 118, will result in policies that impact women, workers, people of color, low-income people, and that makes these our pumpkin business. Paid family and medical leave has been introduced into the Colorado State Legislature every year since 2015. That's 6 years. Despite the best efforts of advocates, organizers, and elected officials, many of whom are standing up here today, Colorado couldn't pass an equitable paid leave program through that venue. And who did that hurt? Women are often the primary caretakers of new children or aging relatives. And women, especially women of color, are more likely to work hourly jobs, rent their homes, and live in poverty as they age. We know that all of this has an economic impact, Taking unpaid leave or quitting their jobs means that women are often more likely to lose out on opportunities for career advancement, higher pay, and better retirement benefits. And this is all as the cost of living, housing prices, and medical expenses have continued to rise. The good news is that we, the people, can do something about this. Proposition 118, paid leave, is on your ballot. And this November, the people will vote in this much-needed program ourselves. And this is the only good thing to happen in 2020. Speaking of 2020, we lost Justice Ginsburg 3 days ago, and other leaders here today have done a great job speaking to the legacy. So I'll focus instead on what's next. We're faced with the prospect of another Trump Supreme Court appointee in a move that would, without exaggeration, threaten the rights and protections and lives of so many people for decades to come. And who do we have to help us? Senator Cory Gardner, empowered, the inaccessible, the invisible senator, the forever out of town, meeting the zone behind closed doors senator, our Senator Cory Gardner. We need him to actually listen to us, the people of Colorado, and commit to waiting until after the next presidential inauguration to confirm Justice Ginsburg's replacement. And if he had 1 ounce of dignity, he would agree with us. I think this was his fucking idea in 2016. He would agree to consider President Obama's nominee. His seat is vulnerable, and we should be quoting his own words back at him every day until he feels like this will hurt his chances of re-election. Make him uncomfortable. Make him feel all the time how vulnerable that seat is. That is our shot. Use his re-election against him. That only gets us to the November elections. And so much of the next phase of our strategy will depend on how those results play out. And then we'll need another strategy, then another one, then another, because the work always continues. Even with Trump and Gardner out of office, the work always continues. But when the work calls to the people rise to the challenge. Thank you.
And now, if RBG had a super fan in Colorado, or had a leader of the Western Slope fan club, it would be Justine Sandoval standing up for women's reproductive health, making sure that we are going to vote no on 115 this election, because there are individuals that want to restrict abortion in our state, and we will say it is up to that individual to decide what is best for their body, because it's their body, their choice. And now let's bring up, I'm going to just say, the super fan for America. You see, we moved from Colorado to the Western Slope to America, the one and only Justine Sandoval.
Thank you so much. I never know. Should I mask? Okay.
Nice mask.
Take it down. Yes, something cool. Hi, everyone. My name is Justine Sandoval. I'm the statewide engagement manager for Cobalt, Colorado. It wouldn't be right if we were like, louder. I'm the statewide engagement manager for Cobalt, Colorado.
Oh, I'm
and I'm here today to talk to you all, and I'm having a hard time not getting emotional, actually. So forgive me if I start to tear up. On Friday when I got the news, I got a text message from a friend saying that Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, and I did not want to believe it. I immediately got online and confirmed the terrible news, and I think my reaction was probably the same as a lot of people's reactions. It was like a punch in the gut, and it was the first time since the election results in 2016 that I had just go through my body. My face went numb, lips were numb, and I just started to cry hysterically, which I'm sure a lot of people, lots of tears on Friday. And I think it's because, you know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was such an icon. You know, she was this larger-than-life person of the court. But so many of us, and we should be able to just mourn her loss. But instead, we have so much anger and fear going through us that we can't even take that moment to honor the giant that she was, because we have to immediately get back to work. And I am tired. I am so tired. I know so many people here are, but within 24 hours, we're back on the ground and back at it and making sure that we are going to do everything in our power to keep pushing forward. No matter the obstacles that get put in our way, we're going to keep going. I have been working on reproductive rights in Colorado for as long as Cory Gardner's been a senator, 6 years. And in that time, I've spent most of that time, and I know I've said this before, chasing him around to hold him accountable. Because what he says and what he does are quite often not the same thing. And I think Coloradans, we're tired of it. And right now, in this very pivotal moment, we need to do everything we can to make sure that we are pushing back and making sure that our leaders are representing the values of Coloradans.
I get a test every 14 days.
And right now, I'm really talking about the chief right now. But there's a lot at stake, and we've been saying things are at stake for years and years and years now, and warning people about all of the repercussions that can happen from a Trump administration, from leaders like Cory Gardner, if we are protecting things like access to reproductive rights. And right now in Colorado, we actually have something on the ballot, 115, that is a backdoor ban on abortion here in Colorado. And it's ran by the same people who would love to see an anti-choice Supreme Court. In fact, they have been working to make sure that that is a reality. And these are the same people that we are constantly fighting back against in Colorado, who are trying to run bad bills in our legislature to ban abortion in Colorado, who are electing these anti-choice officials. People who are electing these anti-choice officials, and right now, with the things that are at stake in Washington with the Supreme Court, we need to work harder than ever in Colorado to make sure that access to abortion and reproductive rights stays safe here in Colorado. So, I'm encouraging everyone to please help with the No on Proposition 115 campaign. If you want to sign up, please text ACTION to 33339. That's 4 3s and a 9, ACTION, and we'll get you signed up and get you information on how you can help us fight this really extremely dangerous ban here in Colorado, so that we can at least protect ourselves in our state while we continue this fight and the fight that's going to come. We don't know what's going to happen in November. We need to push hard. We need to show up. Now is the moment. I know I've been saying the moment is the moment is the moment for years, but this is the moment. Please. People have been working hard in the state and doing the best that they can every single day to protect our rights here in Colorado, and we need you all to show up, and we need you all to push back and keep fighting, and don't give up the hope. Don't give up the fight, because when we're down, we are never out, because we are stronger and we are tougher than our opposition, and we are relentless, and we are representing Ruth Bader Ginsburg and honoring her dying wish to make sure that we have a just court and we move forward. So thank you all so much, and let's keep pushing forward. Text ACTION 3333 39 4 3s and 9. Thank you so much.
Fired up? Oh, that didn't sound like it. Fired up?
Your mask is on upside down.
When I say fired up, you say ready to go. Fired up?
Ready to go.
Fired up?
Ready to go.
Now this is our time and our moment to make sure that we hold Cory Gardner accountable at the ballot box. He said in 2016 in March that the next president should select the next justice, and now we are going into October and we have yet to hear a comment from him. Therefore, we must hold Cory Gardner accountable at the ballot box in November, and we will send John Hickenlooper to the United States Senate. We must make sure that we get out the vote, because our schools are on the ballot. Good, fair elections are on the ballot. Health care is on the ballot this election. This is our defining moment. You will have the opportunity to tell your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren where you were in this moment in history. Did you sit back Or did you get up and you said, let's fight? The Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing on to the ancestors should light a fire under each and every one of you to get up and make sure that you take 10 people to the polls. It should ignite a fire under you to make sure you register 16-year-olds to vote. It should ignite a fire into you to preserve and protect the Colorado legislature and make sure that Democrats continue to hold the state legislature and the state senate and the governor's mansion. It's up to us to make sure that we hold our Bill Weiser accountable to bring justice to the death of Elijah McClain. So much is on the ballot this election. This is our moment, y'all. We can no longer sit by and allow basic human rights to be under attack. If Trump gets another nominee, Roe v. Wade could be gone. DACA could be gone. Marriage equality could be gone. But we will not let that happen because in 24 days, because Gardner for the last 6 years has been ducking his constituents. His constituents have been consistently going to him over the last 6 years. And so we're making our final hurrah to Cory Gardner in 24 days in Washington, D.C. Because we got tired of him not listening to us in Colorado. All we asked for was a town hall before the pandemic hit. We said, meet with us. He said no. He was on a town hall hiatus for over 2 years. He refused to meet with his constituents, and that is why in 24 days we're traveling 1,660 miles to Washington, D.C., to his office. He will hear us whether he likes it or not. And let me tell you one quick thing about this is that there will be 2 young people, a freshman in high school and an 8th grader in middle school, for the first time will step in the nation's capital, that have prepared speeches and that have said, we are ready to go because I know that this individual could be on the ballot again when I'm 18 to vote. And so they're ready to hold Cory Gardner accountable as a middle schooler and a high schooler. Fired up? That it sound like it fired up? Are you ready to vote? Are you ready to vote? Are you ready to get out there and make sure we elect the White House? Are you ready to make sure we vote down Proposition 115? Are you ready to make sure that we continue to make sure Colorado is a blue state and that we will uphold the legacy of Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Are you ready, Colorado? Let's do this. Fired up? Fired up? At this time, if the press has any questions, we'll take them. And I will just give this last plug is you've heard what's next. Now, I hope the story today is not about the number of a crowd, but the message that we put out here today, that we are ready to go and we are ready to hold Cory Gardner accountable this election because this is what he said in March of 2016. So let's see if he echoes that same sentiment now that the Republicans have the White House and that the current occupant is going to try to push somebody through. Let's do this. Any questions from the press? Gardner, I don't know, was Gardner sent an email today?
No, he had a fundraiser at 8 a.m. and then he had to get back to the Senate.
He had a fundraiser at 8 a.m. and had to get back to the Senate.
The fundraiser was here in Denver, though.
So he could have been here. Cory Gardner could have been here. He could have actually answered your questions. If you've asked him, where do you stand on this position? If he can go meet with donors, he can meet with the press. Any other questions? Shame on those funders. Any other questions? All right, fired up? All right, how many people are going to make sure they vote and bring somebody else to vote? All right, let's do this. Thank you guys for coming out.
So I just want y'all to know before we go how great my masks look. And here we go. Oh yeah, there she is. There's Eva. She's fashion modeling our unicorn mask. No nomination till inauguration.
But I spelled it right. I had Dave check it for me.
Oh yes, it's very important to have that. Please do not put trash in the Supreme Court. It is extremely difficult To remove? Let the voters decide. That's great.
I enlarged it.
Genius. All right, folks, we're going to let you go. We're going to sell some masks, talk to the public, our adoring fans, and all the community. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.
It's tonight, yeah, because it changed it.
What's tonight?